Welcome back to Gospel Kanji. I'm your host, Kent Cisco. As we close out season 3, we arrive at one of the clearest moments of realization in the gospel record, an understanding that only comes after the fact. This episode is about the righteous one, Jesus. During the final days before the cross, Jesus is placed under public scrutiny. He is examined, questioned, observed, and the final verdict is repeated again and again. In Matthew 27, while Pilate is seated on the judgment seat, his wife sends him a warning. Have nothing to do with this righteous man. Jesus is not accused of moral failure. He is not found guilty of wrongdoing. He is identified explicitly as righteous. Pilate himself declares that he finds no fault in him. God already had declared through Isaiah centuries earlier, by his knowledge, the righteous one, my servant, will justify the many as he will bear their iniquities. God tells us his name in advance, the righteous one. And after the crucifixion, another witness adds his voice, a Roman centurion, standing beneath the cross, watching how Jesus dies, says, surely this was a righteous man. Before the cross, righteous. On the cross, righteous. After the cross, righteous. The verdict never changes. What changes is our understanding. At the time, the disciples do not yet see what this means. They follow Jesus into Jerusalem. They watch him be examined. They watch him condemned. But they do not yet recognize the significance of what they are witnessing. John tells us this plainly. At first, his disciples did not understand all this. Only after Jesus was glorified did they realize that these things had been written about him and that these things had been done to him. John 12:16. For almost 1,400 years, Israel had been observing the Passover ceremony. In Exodus 12, God tells the people, when you enter the land the Lord will give you, observe this ceremony. Exodus 12:25. And then he adds a crucial instruction. When your children ask you, what does this ceremony mean? You are to tell them it is a Passover sacrifice to the Lord who passed over the houses of the sons of Israel in Egypt when he smote the Egyptians, but spared our homes. Exodus 12:26 and 27. The ceremony was designed to be explained. It was meant to teach. A lamb selected, a lamb examined, a lamb found without blemish, a lamb sacrificed, blood covering households, judgment passing over. What the disciples finally realized only later is that the righteous one they followed was the lamb in the ceremony they'd been observing all their lives. This is where a similar aha moment was embedded in the kanji. The kanji for righteous man is made of two parts, righteousness and person. That is Jesus, Isaiah 53:11. Declared righteous by witnesses, declared righteous by God, declared righteous even by Roman authority. But even though Jesus is declared righteous, there's an unexpected turn of events that no human being could fathom at the time, that God used this human institution, crucifixion, to accomplish his purpose. This man was handed over to you by God's deliberate plan and foreknowledge, Acts 2:23. It was the Lord's will to crush him, Isaiah 53:10. This does not mean God invented crucifixion. It means God sovereignly worked through an existing human system of judgment and execution. Think of it this way. Crucifixion is a human invention. Redemption through the cross is a divine act. And the Passover ceremony points to this final event. This is the moment of recognition. When you flip the order of the kanji, righteousness and person, it becomes the kanji for ceremony. What we couldn't see until this turn of events was that the righteous one is the unblemished lamb in the Passover ceremony. This is not abstract theology. It is recorded testimony. The ceremony Israel practiced for generations was never going to save mankind. The ceremony was pointing to a person and to an event God already knew about. When children ask, "What does this ceremony mean?" the answer is no longer only about Egypt. It's about who the Lamb was pointing to, the righteous one. And when someone asks, "What does this kanji for ceremony mean?" the answer unfolds just as clearly. It points to the righteous one, who is the Lamb of God, Jesus Christ, accepted by God once and for all. The Passover ceremony had been pointing to him all along. This is exactly what the disciples only later understood. And this is the testimony the wise men, after Pentecost, after hearing the full gospel, would have carried back with them and recorded with astonishing understanding. In season 4, we'll go deeper still into what the Bible teaches us about the crucifixion. But here, at the close of season 3, the truth stands plainly. The ceremony had always been pointing to the righteous one, God's servant. If this episode helped you see something new, you can support the investigation by liking the video and subscribing. And if you know someone who would find this meaningful, share it with them too. This is Gospel Kanji. See you in the next season.